apparently Twitch has been coming up with a lot of new updates recently, and I do think Twitch had never been better with Dan Clancy in their back. Like, Dan has been an amazing individual and the best thing that has ever happened to Twitch. But I do feel like still Twitch has been a little bit clueless with their action. And you definitely can see that they are clueless when it comes to their little not safe for work streamers, you know, the one that likes to bend the rules a little bit. And I can see that Zach Asman, a longtime friend, has made a little bit of video about it, so I kind of want to take a look at it and see what his opinion is about.
Hi guys, it's me again, and today, again, we're going to be talking
what up,
about
boys?
Twitch terms of service. This has been a popular topic for, I don't know, about 10 years.
It never ends because, like, the problem with TOS on Twitch is that even if they have a terms of service, it is never, like, enforced enough, and it's never really, it's not explicit enough, it's not direct enough. I have never understood whenever a partner streamer as big as anyone has something going on that might break the terms of service or will break the terms of service, that their Twitch partners or Twitch, like anyone from Twitch, just doesn't DM them and be like, stop that, cut that out. And I've said that to Zach and he completely agrees. Why do they not freaking just tell people stop doing that? Because I feel like instead of publishing a ban, instead of doing this and that, telling somebody, a partner streamer, an individual that is contracted to work on your website, hey, cut that out. And if that should most of the time stop the shit. But if they don't stop it, I can completely reason with a ban for a long duration.
And guess what? It's happening again. There's been another update. About a couple of days ago, there was a new change that was supposed to revert a new change that was actually a change from the old rules. So just
from back and forward
here, for the entire duration of Twitch, and also as far as I know, Justin TV, you could not have a camera that had the primary focus of that camera being on your ass. And you couldn't have it as being the primary focus being on your boobs. But Twitch decided about 6 months ago, fuck it. And they didn't think it's a big deal anymore. And so they decided to make it not against the rules. And guess what happens? Well, as soon as you make that not against the rules, there's a lot of girls that have OnlyFans that use that, and they think to themselves, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make...
By the way, is this sound fine? I'm just wondering because I'm looking at the thing. Is the sound fine? Just ban the well-known streamers for like 6 months and would be a good example. I think you could do that, but I think it's his sound. Okay. As long as you can hear him fine. It's a little bit louder, Okay, I'll do a little bit louder. Okay, so here's the thing. I think that is a fine action after you have given them a warning. Like after you directly told them, stop doing this specific thing and don't bend it around to make it liable. If they do that, ban them for 6 months to make an example. I think that is the best way forward, is that Twitch is more direct to their partners.
Another camera, a separate camera that is focused entirely
on
my ass or on my boobs, and that's it. That's the whole...
Remember the girl that had like a feet cam? She's like sitting there with a camera on her feet all the time, and then she's have a regular camera on her face and chest and stuff like that. And then she's just playing games. Like, my God.
Camera. That's the entire function of that camera. And this has been what Twitch community refers to as a new meta of the ass cameras. And I guess it was a bit too much. So Twitch decided to revert this rule. And I wanted to talk about, I guess, the ridiculousness of what's been happening with this problem for like the past few years. And I think especially after these rules have been changed. And I think that I want to talk about where I think this problem is coming from and where I think it's going to go. So today, the reason why I'm actually making the video, I'm about to go have dinner with my dad after this, but I figured, before that, I've got to make this video before I forget. And what happened is that I saw on Twitter, there were all of the usual suspects, of the usual suspects that have been suspended on Twitch. Amarath, Mordecai, Asian Bunny, and everybody else. And so these girls have all been suspended pending this new rule, because the new rule just went into effect today or yesterday or something like that. It was either today or yesterday. And so now these girls are getting suspended even though they don't actually have the camera directly on their ass anymore. And some of them, this is what's even more interesting, is some of them have already gotten unbanned. So,
oh, wow.
Is it against the rules? Is it not against the rules? Nobody knows. And you know what? I don't even think Twitch knows either.
And that is the issue I think you see a lot with Twitch, is that I don't think Twitch should ever unban people when it comes to sexual attire, like this situation like that. If it's a misunderstanding, like a cosplay or something like that, completely fine. But these girls are sitting there with a bikini, oiled up, with a camera under their ass cheeks, recording while they're standing on a pad shaking their butts. So you clearly know what's going on here. Anybody could know what's going on here. Anybody looking at this would know. So why would you backpedal on this after creating a new rule directly targeting them? Like, that is what is completely odd to me, because like whenever they make these rules, everybody knows who they're talking about. Instead of saying that directly to them, or saying directly these guys need to stop doing this, they make the rule as a broad statement. It's like whenever you want to want to third party someone, it's just weird that they don't directly just hold their ground on the rules that they make and make them more explicit and understandable. Because why would they create a rule out of the blue and then suddenly ban people for it and then unban them for it? Did they have a discussion? If so, they need to be more public about it, because other streamers don't know what the hell's going on. Like, how would you understand what is fine and what is not?
I think that all of Twitch's terms of service is completely reactionary. There's no principle to any of it.
I agree.
There's absolutely no logic at all. And the only reason why they have their terms of service is not to protect the users on the platform. It's not to protect the streamers either. It's only to protect the advertisers.
And you know that is true, because have you seen what VTubers are not allowed to use? I, to this day, am still mad that Twitch would not allow Neander's Cosmic a VTuber model. That model was one of the coolest looking VTuber models ever to exist. But because she has like this cosmic flow on her, which isn't like really, so she doesn't look like, so it kind of looks like she's kind of naked in a way, but she's not, because she has this cosmic flow on her. Because she's a VTuber, because she's a cartoon character, advertiser will not understand if this is porn or not. Compared to whenever a girl is like split half naked with a G-string on, oiled up. Now that is fine for the advertisers, but a cartoon character that have no specific like any nipples or any like special like focus on any sexual like part of their body, just the fact they have like a cool attire that is like, I guess like a little bit like it's slim, they will not allow those things. And they do it with a lot of VTubers. They don't allow VTubers to have specific attire so much because they are cartoon character, and the double standard with this is so weird. And why is that? Do you think Dan Clancy doesn't know by this time what VTubers are, etc.? Hell no. He's talked to Shy Lily. He's like all over the platform a lot. It's probably their advertisers that just don't understand it, because they're like, what the heck is this?
And so guess what? Whenever an advertiser complains about something like this, then Twitch feels
YouTube understands. They understand
what they're going to do. So Twitch made basically a completely, they pretty much got rid of all the rules.
They're trying to avoid being regulated? I don't know about that.
Streams outside of like straight up porn. And even that's debatable with what the original rules were about 6 months ago. And ever since then, they've been clawing that back. And I think the reason why this keeps happening is because Twitch, how can you solve a problem that you can't acknowledge what the problem is? You can't say,
Allow
hey,
nipples.
guys, I see what the problem is. Let's solve the problem. Because they have to keep pretending like they can't see the problem. Because seeing the problem, as, you know, some people would say, would be sexist. Because the truth is that 99.9% of all of these streams are done by girls. And the reason why they're doing them is because they're doing it to sell subscriptions to OnlyFans. So here's the way it works. Basically, the girl goes on Twitch and she's doing sexual content. Now, is it very sexual? Oh, not really. But it's sexual. And it clearly creates a gateway for girls to go from, you know, like, oh yeah, watch me on Twitch and I'm in a bikini, and then watch me on OnlyFans and I don't have the bikini on anymore. And so what ends up happening is these girls have their Twitch channel, a lot of people come in and they watch it, and then there's a link tree underneath there with all of their socials, and all of their socials are, you know, like 2 or 3 different porn websites, which is really what Fansly, Patreon to an extent, lesser extent.
And you need to mind that, like, Twitch has a rule against this. But the problem is that when you do Linktree, it's kind of bending the rule. So Twitch added, there was a time where streamers actually had OnlyFans, like, links on their Twitch channels. But then Twitch thought that was bad to have, like, pornography websites linked on Twitch. So they made a rule where you were not allowed to link OnlyFans and Fansly and stuff like that on their Twitch channel. You're not allowed to have the link for it. So what the streamers did instead, to bend the rule, was to have a Linktree link where the OnlyFans link is. Now, my personal opinion about this, I think Twitch is too stuck up on sexual attires, how people look and what they do. I think it's fine that they move people that are barely wearing anything over to the hot tub stuff where there's no advertisers and they do their own thing and they advertise their OnlyFans or whatever. I don't really give a shit. I think it's about what they tend to ban around it, how nitpicky they are, how outrageous they are, how they're not really following the rules set in other situations with people that usually never do anything bad and stuff like that. It's never their rule set and their punishment never make sense. They never make sense. But what I personally think would be the best for Twitch is to either start being clear with the rule set and cut that shit, like cut the shit about being very subtle about their bans and be more direct about them and like make people understand what's going on. Or they should or if they want to keep on doing this have this cat and mouse game with these not safe for work streamers and keep being like so vague about the rules, how about you just overall don't allow OnlyFans and Fansly models to stream on Twitch? What about that? Just cut them out entirely. Get them all out. And again, this is something I don't really want to happen. I don't mind it. I don't care about it. You watch whatever you want. If they do their thing, they get the viewers that care about that. It doesn't really impact you. But I just think it's just funny and kind of silly how they have this up and down like fight all the time against them, and they can't figure out how to move forward with it.
But still there, and OnlyFans are. They're porn websites. And so these girls are effectively using Twitch to use it as a vehicle.
Just ban women without VTuber model based.
And so I personally don't really give a fuck about this all that much. I don't really view Twitch as
women.
a sacred cow that cannot be defiled because, oh,
that would go well.
Can't come into our video game space and do this. I don't really give a shit about it. But what I do give a shit about is the intellectual dishonesty.
Exactly.
And that's really what's going on here. Is that you see Twitch stumbling and fumbling around because they don't actually want to address the bad actors that are using their website to sell porn. So what they do, and because if they do that, then it could be perceived as sexist. So what they're doing instead is they are making these abstract rules as a reaction to what these girls are doing in order to get around the rules. So what does that do? Well, that just changes what the metas are.
Exactly.
So as soon as this becomes
always walk around it.
The rules, these girls are going to do something else. And then after that becomes against the rules, then these girls are going to do something after.
And I gotta say, it is impressive how creative they are with doing, like, bending the rules. They always find a new way to make to make a new spectacle out of it. It is actually so impressive. I think it's so funny.
That. So you can see clearly what the pattern is. And why is this pattern happening? Well, it's very simple. It's because it's their fucking job. Whenever you think about it, it's like for these girls, what they do is they make money. They're making $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month on OnlyFans. So if you had $50,000 a month riding on figuring out a way to get around Twitch's terms of service, what the hell do you think you would do? I bet I'd figure out a way around it. And that's exactly what's been happening for the past few years. And Twitch has not been able to accurately address this problem because in doing so, they would have to identify what the problem is. And in order to identify what the problem is, they would have to acknowledge something that is inherently sexist because guess what? Sex is sexist. And the fact that it is pretty much 100% women selling these services and women creating this kind of content. So if you make a rule against that or you're banning them because of that, it is seen as being sexist to some people who probably have never gone outside. But unfortunately on Twitter, there's a lot of those.
But you need to think that, I guess that male OnlyFans users are not that commonly known on Twitch for advertising their like platform, but there are men that also use Twitch, like not uses Twitch and have an OnlyFans. Like it's not purely just women doing this, so it shouldn't really be an issue. I think overall they should just not allow people to do porn and stream on Twitch, because if their worry is that this will be bad for advertisers, this reputation will be bad for advertisers, well, then Twitch has in their own right, they are allowed to do whatever they want. So if they don't want porn stars on the website to constantly be there and advertise their pornography, then just don't allow them on.
And so anyway, this is really what's been going on. And
there's no cock stream, true.
What's going to keep happening.
Actually,
this is going to keep happening.
I saw one
for the indefinite future. I don't
put a
think
green screen on it.
Time where Twitch stops doing this until they completely have like an advertiser, like an adpocalypse or something like that. There's never going to be a point where Twitch decides, okay, this is enough. We're going to start banning all of these content creators. I think that Twitch doesn't really care about these content creators one way or another, and that's what I was saying earlier about how I agree. Think that Twitch
I think that's the best way instead of banning them all.
All the TOS exists for is just simply to protect advertisers and make sure that the advertisers don't leave. That's why, like all of these things that were, oh, these are so bad to do. Oh man, you can't say this, you can't say that. The only reason why this happened is because of advertisers. And before the advertisers came in, you could say whatever the hell you wanted on Twitch. It's because of money, and that's the only reason. And so anyway, if Twitch is perceived as being sexist, that could also cause them to lose advertisers. That's the train of logic that I think is happening. And so what's going to keep happening is that until Twitch views this as a bigger risk than being perceived in a negative way, they are going to continue addressing the symptom and not necessarily the disease. And I also want to make sure that this is very clear. I actually don't have a problem with the girls doing this. I don't really care.
I don't care either.
That it shouldn't be in people's recommended.
I agree. It shouldn't be in the recommended. It shouldn't be on the front page. I don't give a shit if some girl is showing her ass cheeks or a dude is like showing his bulge. Don't give a fuck. But I do care about the fact that a VTuber model can't really show any fucking thing at all. And I'm not talking about straight up nipples and boobs and showing their ass cheeks and like pussy out. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about well-designed attire that looks cool, but it is a little bit sexual. Like, it is showing like, it's not really showing like looking like you have like a shirt over your it looks like you have the yoga pants on or whatever the fuck. I just think it's stupid that they don't allow, like, they're like working around and creating these weird rule set that don't even make sense, and it doesn't work both ways on like all of their their streamers. Like, it's such a weird dynamic, because what they think is fine for somebody that is a VTuber is not fine for somebody that's not a VTuber, and what they think is fine for somebody that's not a VTuber, they think what they think is fine for somebody that's not a VTuber, think it's not fine for a VTuber. It's just weird. Like, overall, the whole thing is weird. They're stupid. It's all stupid.
These streams while you're not online, and or sorry, not logged in. And if you're not logged in with a account that's 18 plus, then I don't think you should be able to watch them at all. But I also have very extreme viewpoints on this, as in, I don't think any people under the age of 18 should be on social media in any capacity whatsoever, unless it's an app that is explicitly made for kids like YouTube Kids.
I agree.
And there should be no peer-to-peer messaging or any sort of curation, or there should be maximum curation on everything that's seen on that platform.
I think that the fact that you're talking about kids being on a platform, like, dude, what the hell? We can't control that. If that is an issue, that is an issue for the parents. It's not an issue for the, like, a website that says that you need to be 13 years old or older. Like, if you're over 13, listen, you're a teenager, you're gonna see porn. You're going to see porn. That is the time whenever you start looking at this shit up, it just happens. It is what it is. But you shouldn't worry about, like, kids being on the platform whenever the site is not advertised for kids at all. If there's a site that is meant for kids, like if there's a site that's meant for children and it is advertised for children, I can understand where the rule set will be really like very on the shit, so very on everything that is friendly toward children. But Twitch is not that. It's this website with majority millennials talking nonsense. That is what it is. So why would you send your kid to watch a 30-year-old balding man talk? What?
Because you see how creepy shit is on YouTube for kids, even, and that's why YouTube
Hi, Snack Boy.
redesigned what they were doing. So that's my perspective on it. I don't think there should be any kids on a platform, period.
I
think
agree.
they should all be read-only, and you shouldn't even be able to use the platform.
I agree.
Unless you're logged in. Okay, that's my opinion.
I agree.
I understand it's very extreme, but that's what I think. There's a lot of
I don't think you should be able to watch Twitch unless you have an account.
A lot of creeps, a lot of weirdos, a lot of kids being exposed to things they shouldn't be aware of, and I think that's a much bigger problem. The fact that it's girls in bikinis, this is probably a...
And I know people would find that annoying, but like that's because everybody thinks about like in the sense of a consumer. But like whenever you start looking at shit as a consumer where things are going bad, people being annoying, and just generally as a streamer itself or a user, you can see that the website would do wonders if you were required to log in to a Twitch account just to use it. I think it's such a small thing, but it would do wonders for the sites.
No, really not that big of a deal.
It would do
on the
wonders.
Scale of 1 to 10, but it's still not a good thing.
I missed that wiggle.
So
Hey,
anyway,
you got a Twitch
what ends
Prime.
up happening is that you see people that are obviously very upset about this, and I can understand why, because I think the reason why a lot of people
Unverified, that is the choice of a streamer.
And the way this works,
They want that.
is because of what I said,
And that's
the
fine.
Intellectual dishonesty of it. I think that's why, for example, whenever content is just very overtly sexual, people don't really care as much about it. But whenever it's somebody who's doing something like body painting, but all of their body painting includes exclusively body painting their breasts, this is very clearly
You kind of
sexual. It is, and telling somebody that it's not is an insult to their intelligence. And I think that's why a lot of people are annoyed by it, because it is insulting to be told that you can't see what's directly in front of you. And I think that Twitch is pretending like they don't see what's directly in front of them. And that's really what's pushing a lot of this problem. So today, when all of these girls got banned, I don't really know whether this is going to stick or not, but I do think that Twitch needs to fix this eventually, because this is going to happen until eventually. What I think is this is the end result, right? The end result will be that at some point in time, there becomes a large enough zeitgeist of Twitch is using the platform that, is not very well moderated for minors to basically advertise porn. And the moment that that happens, and there's a big article about this, you're going to see Twitch completely change their rules. Because again, Twitch has no actual identity or ideals or principles or values or morals with their TOS. It is all reactionary. So the moment that something like this becomes bad, they will immediately get rid of it. So until then, I think you're going to continue seeing this cat and mouse game of, you know, the girls, obviously Twitch makes a rule and then they have like a workaround for it, or they have some sort of, you know, oh, well, this isn't really focused on, it's my whole body and not just my, you know, my ass or my boobs. Oh, it's not the same thing. So I think you're going to see this cat and mouse game continue over and over and over, because again, Twitch refuses to acknowledge what the problem really is.
And I said it earlier, like at the start of the video, Dan Clancy is the best thing that has happened ever to Twitch. Dan got Twitch in a situation where they've been neglected by the leaders for so long that he had a lot to work on. He had a lot to work on. He's taking things step by step, talking to the streamers. He's being everywhere. I think there will be still a cat and mouse game for a while, but at some point, like the embedded streams and Fextra Life, this is becoming more of a topic more and more and more. And eventually, they will figure out a way to solve this.
I find this to be quite entertaining. I do. I think it's entertaining. It doesn't really affect me. I don't really care about it a whole lot. The truth is that if you look at overall Twitch traffic...
Didn't the previous CEO have trouble in even knowing what Twitch is? He didn't know what the fuck is going on. He had zero clue, zero idea about anything. Like, I don't know. He said one day, oh, I'm going to start being active more towards streamers and being more direct about bans and being more transparent. Bitch. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks. A ban, no transparency, nothing at all. And it continues on the same goddamn thing. Nothing changed.
People that are following and watching these streams is such a tremendous minority.
Yo, bro, this is not an offline chat. Chill out, man.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where even though it's probably like 1% of the platform, if that, if you look at overall traffic, you can look this up yourself if you want.
Just 2 more. I know, right?
Because I was curious, you know, how many people are really watching this stuff? How many people really care? It's probably about like 1% or so. And it's definitely not more than 3. So the point is that I don't think that Twitch really cares that much about this. They just want to make money as much as they can without having anything get in the way of that. And so what they're...
I don't think Twitch itself cares, but I think Dan kind of cares. I don't think he really cares, but he kind of takes the worries of the users and the streamers, and then he cares about it. So I think that's a good thing. So eventually, I think they will focus a little bit more on it.
They're going to do is ignore this as much as they possibly can
until they have to focus on it.
There comes a you know, an enough is enough moment, and Twitch decides to ban all these people. But I think that Twitch really you know, until you actually address, you know, the girls that are doing this, because they will just figure out a new way to sell OnlyFans subs on Twitch. It's literally their job. So until you actually figure out a way to punish people for what the intent of the action is, rather than just simply the action, you can never actually stop the root of the problem. And that's what I think Twitch is in the problem with right now. I don't think they know what they're going to do. And it's funny to see them squirm around. It's funny to see the girls change the different outfits.
It is funny.
Things. And to be honest, some of it's really creative. And, you know, as a, you know, I'm an expert on this kind of content. So
He's an expert on this, yeah.
And it really is... it's not what I would expect, I'll tell you that. It's not what I would have thought of. But I guess if you've got $20,000 a month riding on it, you're going to figure out a way. And that's what they always will do. And so I hope Twitch knows that any rule that they make...
He's the not safe for work expert on Twitch, boys.
Until they realize
he knows.
They have to address the problem. How can you solve a problem if you don't even know what it is, or you refuse to acknowledge what it is? So anyway, guys, that's about all I got. I figured I'd just make a short video talking about this because I think it's kind of ridiculous, especially now that you're seeing people get banned and unbanned over it again. And so, you know, we'll see how things go. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good video as always, man. Yeah, I just want to hear the piece. Good video as always, Zach. Really, really good video. I agree. I think this is just a cat and mouse game, and I kind of think it's like, who cares about specifically this thing, like, situation, but it's like, it's about all of Twitch rule sets. It just doesn't look professional. It's so odd. You have a bunch of e-celebrities making millions. These people are big people are massive on your website. There are a lot of users on your website. It just feels so casual how they react to things and how they handle things. It just doesn't look like they are following the rule set correctly. Doesn't look like they force them correctly. It doesn't seem like they have any idea what they want to do do when they move forward. It just looks very silly to me. But I don't know. I have hopes in Dan, and I hope that eventually with time we will see a better Twitch having more clear and understanding rules and enforce them the correct way. In my opinion, I think what Twitch should just do more is that whenever somebody fucks up, they should just DM them, be like, stop that, cut that out. This is not good. And if they keep on doing that, ban them. If they stop, you keep them alive. You keep them their channel up, because banning someone out of the blue is just weird, and it's not like not being transparent about like actions. It's just odd. It's just so odd. Every time somebody gets banned, everybody's going into this doctor, like all are becoming Sherlock Holmes to figure out how did this guy get banned, like what happened, because they don't tell you what you got banned for. It's just like they just tell you you're banned, and that's it. It's just very, very odd. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Twitch. But yeah, yep.